All right, guys. Today we are gonna be reacting to Stephen A. Smith talking about Diddy's indictment. Let's jump in.
Sean P. Diddy Combs. That's the subject right now.
Damn.
The topic is serious. It's a federal case against Sean P. Diddy Combs. The bad boy entertainment mogul was arrested overnight at a Manhattan hotel and taken into custody by U.S. Homeland Security investigators. The investigators were acting on a sealed indictment filed by the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. The 14-page indictment, which I have read, which was unsealed today, charges Diddy with sex trafficking and racketeering. The federal government has accused Diddy of directing a vast criminal enterprise that he used to assault and traffic women. There's a section of the indictment that essentially lays out the broad case against Diddy. He's accused of, quote, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, end quote. The indictment also alleges Diddy used force or threats of force to coerce women to engage with male sex workers. The indictment goes on to say those acts, which were called, quote, freak-offs, end quote, sometimes lasted days.
Damn.
And were often recorded. Federal prosecutors say various recordings were seized during the raids on Diddy's home in Los Angeles, homes, not one home, homes, as in plural, in Los Angeles and Miami earlier this year. The government also alleges participants of the quote-unquote freak-offs were often given controlled substances like ketamine and ecstasy to keep victims, quote, obedient.
You know what's crazy? We knew this for years, man. For years, we knew about this.
And compliant, end quote. Combs will appear in federal court today where he's expected to plead not guilty. Federal prosecutors laid out the case against Diddy during a press conference earlier today in New York City, during which prosecutors also said they want bail denied and they want Diddy to remain in jail until his trial. P. Diddy Combs is expected to plead not guilty, and his attorneys say he deserves to be released until the trial date. Diddy's wave of legal troubles was spurred by a bombshell lawsuit filed by ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in November. The R&B singer accused the mogul of rape, sex trafficking, and physical abuse. The lawsuit was settled for an undisclosed amount a day after it was brought. He's in a world of trouble, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
My God, is he in a world of trouble.
Yep.
First of all, say some local police department. This is Homeland Security. So let's get that out the way first. This is Homeland Security. First off. Secondly, the sex trafficking, the physical abuse is something the ex-girl accused him of. Remember, he settled that the next day after the case, after she publicized it. He settled the case the next day. But it was thereafter that the video came out with him running down the hallway, snatching her, throwing her to the ground, kicking her, throwing a vase at her, etc., etc. Y'all remember that infamous video?
Yeah, that was a bad video, man. I don't know if y'all have watched it. I cannot show that in YouTube because, you know, the police, YouTube police will come after me. But that was a very nasty video. Very nasty.
He came on and he apologized and he acknowledged that he was in a real bad, effed up place. That's what he said.
Yeah.
That's what he said. So you admitted you were messed up. You admitted that your act was egregious. It's the apology. Remember when he gave that quote-unquote apologetic video right there? A lot of people weren't buying it because it was shortly removed from him categorically and emphatically denying there was any truth to the allegations that were levied against him. It was only after the video came out that he had to fess up and own up to it. And even then, people didn't believe that his level of contrition was satisfactory. So we all knew this was coming. But when you hear racketeering conspiracy, when you hear sex trafficking by force, when you hear that drugs were used to keep them obedient and compliant, when you hear about the transportation to engage in prostitution, male sex workers, and all of this other stuff, he's in a world of trouble. And I hate to bring up this name, but it is apropos in this particular situation. Remember what Suge Knight said? Y'all remember that?
What?
When Suge Knight said he was in a world of trouble? Because Suge Knight said, listen, he knows a lot. And so you're looking at a potential situation where it could arguably mirror that of Jeffrey Epstein. Remember him?
Mm-hmm. And one of the main concerns now that a lot of people are, he might get deleted, or he delete himself, press delete, in the keyboard, and all of a sudden, delete the sentence. Listen, folks, and this is all connected with politics. A lot of these, there's probably a lot of politicians connected with a lot of these lists, a lot of these videos. Or somehow you can notice a lot of these politicians, they act weird. They're kind of weird. A lot of these artists are weird. You start asking yourself, how in the hell these people are all weird? They don't act normal. They're kind of, in some way they're messed up in the head. And I don't know why the federal government takes so long to just drag something that is too obvious. We knew about Diddy. We knew of the Epstein since the beginning of the 2000s. Alex Jones used to talk about this for years. Even before all this. But it's just the federal government takes forever to just even prosecute somebody.
August 10th, 2019. Prison guards found, I'm reading right from online. Guards found American financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein unresponsive in his jail cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City, where he was awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. Tried to perform CPR, couldn't resuscitate him, pronounced dead at a downtown hospital at 6:39 a.m.
That's crazy.
What it went on to say in the reports that there were violations because normal jail procedures on the night of Epstein's death wasn't followed. It talked about a malfunction of 2 cameras in front of his cell. And you got people still to this very day with their conspiracy theories being thrown out there that it wasn't suicide, but ultimately intentional harm was brought to him because he knew too much about too many people. That's what Suge Knight alluded to when he was talking about P. Diddy. And as we sit here today, who the hell can deny that potential reality? Do we know? No. We don't know. But what we do know is that these are federal charges. What we do know is that his attorney has been on the record saying that he flew to New York as recently as a couple of weeks ago because they knew this was coming down the pike. And he wanted to show compliance and that he wasn't running from anything. And he's expected to plead not guilty. And he turned himself in, and months earlier he had turned his passports in, and family members had also turned their passports in. But let's lay this out, because we need to understand and we need to gather a level of education in our own brains to edify ourselves to the kind of trouble you can get yourself in sometimes. Him, obviously so. Clearly, you can sit up there and say you're innocent until proven guilty. Nah. That's in the court of law. In the court of public opinion, he's already been found guilty. Can we just be real about that? In the court of public opinion, not law. In the court of public opinion, ain't a damn soul think he's innocent.
You're gone.
I'm not denigrating or castigating the brother, whatever. I met him at a Golden State Warriors game. One time I went to a party, and it was supposed to be his party. I never saw nothing like that. But without mentioning any names, without incriminating anybody, you see the names? Do you see the people who have befriended him over the years, who have attended his parties, who are considered close to him, who he's been in business with? Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this has gotten very, very scary. Hollywood's in trouble.
Woo.
Hip-hop and R&B is in trouble. Because the brother's an elite success story, had a lot of friends.
But a lot of these connections, right? It's the first person that comes to mind is Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber is the first person that comes into mind. You have to say there's some videos about, I don't know if you can find them here on YouTube, but on Rumble and Bishop, you can see some of these videos about how Diddy was treating Justin Bieber. Sad, very sad, man. Justin Bieber used to be a very naive kind of kid, right? And yeah, he just happened to be a victim, you know?
Had a lot of people vouch, or once upon a time vouch for him, in terms of his brilliance as an artist, a producer rather, Brother knew how to make money.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah.
And now here we are. When you're in that position and you know so much, I got news for you.
Uh-oh.
It's gotten very, very scary. If it were just him, it would be sad. It would be very unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
But I use the word scary because I get the impression,
Mm-hmm.
to put it kindly, that his life ain't the only life that's going to be affected.
Mm.
That they ain't after him just to get him.
Mm-hmm.
You got Homeland Security involved. You got the feds involved. I got news for you. They ain't coming just for him. They coming for a whole bunch of people.
Yep, there you go.
Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airways of YouTube. As we are taping this show, we are monitoring Sean P. Diddy Combs in court. He has pled not guilty, and the prosecutor is arguing that he should be held in jail. He should not be released on bail because he's reached out to witnesses and victims, and some witnesses say they are scared of him. This is according to the prosecutor. They're saying that he's reached out to some victims. The Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson is the one making this argument to the judge. She says that he's reached out to some victims. After Dawn Richard, a former member of a music group Combs started, filed her lawsuit on September 10th, Combs reached out to another member of the band who publicly denied the allegations 3 days later. Johnson said Combs called and texted other women 58 times in 4 days. Stuff like that. Just reading off the report from CNN.com. And Kevin Frazier, you heard him allude to it just a few minutes ago, that what else is going to come out of all of this? Because you know names are going to be dropped and what have you. I'm not attaching any names to this. All I'm doing is reading the news, ladies and gentlemen, at this particular point, and giving you my thoughts based off of the news. This is the kind of stuff that I was alluding to when I said we need Hollywood's in trouble. Hip hop, R&B, the music industry. I'm not talking about actors and actresses. I'm talking about Hollywood.
No, come on, man. You know, it's gonna be people involved in this. You know, artists as well, and people that we know, and people that are currently in the political realm.
In terms of the music industry, it's in a world of trouble right now because you don't know whose name is attached to P. Diddy, and you don't know where the dominoes are going to fall. You see, when R. Kelly, with his pedophile ass self, was being pursued by law enforcement, by prosecutors and what have you, it was just him. It was just him. There might have been some people who knew or thought or heard or whatever the case may be, but they wanted him. Okay? They wanted him. When you look at P. Diddy, it almost seems clear. It's not just him thereafter. These are RICO charges. It's an indictment. It's Homeland Security. Homes raided in Los Angeles and Miami. Computers and laptops and iPads and phones and surveillance videos and stuff like that confiscated. They did that in May. You're talking about months later, and here they come with this indictment, and they're trying to make it so today, as we're taping this show, if prosecutors have their druthers, they're trying to make today his last day of freedom in his life. That's what they're trying to do. They want him behind bars today.
Damn, that's how bad it is.
Not next week, not next month, not when the trial begins, and he's found guilty by a jury of his peers in their eyes. No. They want him in jail now.
Wow, that's how bad it is, huh?
This is the level of urgency that they're attaching to this. And then lo and behold, on this day, when P. Diddy is walking into a courtroom in New York to plead not guilty on sex trafficking and racketeering charges, hip-hop music industry vet Kevin Liles is resigning from his Warner Music Group executive VP gig.
Damn.
I am reading from a story right here online on TMZ. On Tuesday, Liles sent a company memo announcing his resignation as chairman and CEO of Warner Brothers 300 Elektra Entertainment chairman.
This is crazy, man.
Passing the torch to some seasoned vets The next paragraph, ladies and gentlemen, here's what it says. Lyles has been with Warner since 2004, which formerly housed Diddy's Bad Boy Records. And he's been vocal defending the mounds of allegations against Puffy. That's what it said. So it's not me talking. Every time I've met Kevin Lyles, has been incredibly nice to me. I don't know anything about any of this stuff. What I do know is that they're attaching his name
To Diddy.
to P. Diddy. And they're doing so on the day that he resigned. And they're showing you the connection between him and Bad Boy Entertainment. You know why they're doing that? Because it's a glimpse of what's coming.
There's a lot of things out there, huh?
There's a whole bunch of names. Y'all guess it. I ain't gonna put out no polls.
Yep.
I'm not gonna put a poll out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of pictures with a lot of people, man. And a lot of people are starting. And Twitter is crazy right now. There's so much stuff just being bombarded on Twitter. You can't even keep up. There's so much information you can't even keep up.
Ask you and give you names and multiple choice. I'm not doing that to other human beings. Only reason I read Kevin Lyles' name is because of the TMZ report that's plastered all over the news right now. It's the only reason I read the name. I'm not mentioning anybody's name. But what they're saying is that's the first domino. This is what they're saying. That's the implication. That's what's going on. Think about the parties at his home. Think about the artist, Puffy, P. Diddy, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Sean Diddy Combs. Think about the artist he's represented, who's worked under his label. Go ahead and do your own homework. Think about the people an inordinate amount of people he's been seen with at these parties and beyond. And as Kevin Frazier highlighted, think about Jeffrey Epstein. Think about Suge Knight. Think about what happened with Jerry Epstein. Think about how Suge Knight deferred to the Jeffrey Epstein situation when describing the potentiality of what could eventually happen to Sean Diddy Combs. This is bad. This is very, very bad. All we can do is keep our eyes open, watch the case unfold, and remember, as prosecutors are pursuing this case against him, pushed forward by Homeland Security of all folks, we're going to hear more and more and more details. I just finished watching a couple of news channels, a couple, not just one. You know what they said?
What did they say?
They brought up the video of him throwing Cassie Ventura to the ground.
That's it.
His ex.
That's it. That's the game over. GG. Checkmate.
Kicking her and throwing a vase at her. And they said, that's just one tape. You know they have more. That's what the news network.
And the only reason he came out and apologized is because he got caught. But that means that he has been doing this for quite some time.
Just saying. They also brought up reporters who cover or have covered the music industry and how they're saying he's been accused of being violent, not just with the ladies, but having people beat up.
Wow.
And then they said, allegedly having people killed.
Wow.
This is what they said on the news networks. Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, all of that. That's what they said. What people were saying. Kevin Frazier alluded to it.
So he's basically
This.
like a mob. At this point, he's a mafia. He's a mobster. He's a mobster. Basically a mobster.
Saying it. And prosecutors are pursuing a case against him because of it. This is where it begins. This is not where it ends. We all need to keep our eyes open with regard to the fallout from all of this.
Yeah.
Not just who falls, but for what reason, and how is the preponderance of evidence gathered against them? Was it because of videos confiscated by Homeland Security at his homes that they raided in Los Angeles or Miami? Or will it get to the point where Diddy says stuff himself
That's crazy.
to protect himself,
That's crazy. Right there.
his life,
That's crazy.
and Lord knows of whom else's.
At that point, boy, we already know, man. The entire industry, entertainment industry, is just filled with Satan. At that point, man, literally, Satan is the one that own all that stuff. I'm telling you, it's just a cesspool of degenerate humans in that area, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next one.